Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 63 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, and in today's episode we will be paying attention to Minmus. We have constructed a Minmus station expansion in the previous episode that should contain some experiments, and our engineer Viruk M Kerman is launching it to Minmus. By the way, you've seen me do launches a couple of times, so I will be doing that at time acceleration. Standard launch, nothing much to see here. First and second stage decoupling, and burning for the apoapses of around 100-110 roughly. And once we get to 100 roughly, then we will be circularizing. So standard circularization, nothing out of the ordinary, 1441 meters per second burn, which should take 1 minute and 32 seconds approximately. Lining up the rocket and busting the fairings open, and here you can see our payload. Our payload is another station component, which is the science lab, together with some RCS fuel tank, a docking bay, and also a small lander. And the whole purpose is that our engineer Viruk goes there, connects the station, and then returns back in the lander. But we will be also be doing some fixing of the orbit, etc, etc. So let's set Minmus as a target, shall we? And line up the inclination. By the way, I'm accelerating through a little bit more well-known parts, and I'll maybe have slower on the newer, or not so newer parts, but rather than, let's say, different parts. So, lining up with a maneuver node, just to make sure that we change our inclination. It's 276 meters per second burn, so it's not a big deal, and it should be happening in some 13 minutes. So far we have been upgrading our station in a similar fashion as our Kerbin orbital, because, well, design works. So for the time being we will be using similar components, but then at a certain point I will branch off. So yes, our burn is completed, and now it's time to set up a maneuver node to encounter Minmus. And here I have always Moon in the way, so now I'm just trying to fiddle a little bit with the maneuver node to see if I can get it to line up nicely. But then again, the important thing is to burn, and the second most important thing is to do the encounter. So let's do this one thing at a time now, shall we? Our burn will be in 15 minutes roughly, and it is 905 meters per second, and we have 2200 and something meters per second roughly, so it should be more than enough. So burning. Burn. And okay, cutting it a little bit slower, and here we have our Minmus encounter. Perfect. Then let's set up a maneuver node near Minmus to make sure that we fix a little bit maybe here closer, because the earlier it is, the cheaper it is. So I do want to make a decent maneuver node so that it doesn't cost us too many, although in Minmus is such a low gravity that we fortunately don't need to care that much. But okay, here's the maneuver node, and now we're just kind of fiddling a little bit, see if we can get a decent encounter, and clearly we can, because for some reason my trajectories go wonky. Let's see, focus on Minmus. And this looks much better. Okay, and yeah, so the whole goal is to basically align as well with our current station and Minmus lander, Something like that, and I'm pretty much happy with that one. So yes, let us deploy the solar panels. Beautiful. I really like this ring. It gives a certain station-y feeling. Besides, it generates a small amount of electricity during basically from any angle, so, or almost any angle. So that's kind of cool. Passing moon. Hi moon, we won't be coming to you that quickly. And our main focus is Minmus. Coming up on our maneuver node. 67.1 meters per second burn. Not a whole lot. But still, I think it's good that we fix it sooner rather than later. So yes. And it's easy to miss these burns because they're so tiny. And fixing it now just ever so slightly with RCS. And yeah, I think that's okay. So we have Minmus encounter in 2 days. Closing up on it. And great. We're starting to get connection. I mean, in this case it doesn't matter much because we are using manned pods, so we do have a Kerbal on board. But if we didn't, this would be a handy. As you can see, our Minmus satellite is acting as a relay, which is kind of cool. So, and I think that's our Minmus scan set acting as a relay, which is even cooler. Great. Coming up, and now I have a maneuver node set up to make sure that we line up correctly with it. And it's 2.9 meters per second burn, so it's very, very minuscule. I think might be even doing that one on RCS alone once we actually get to it, because it's so small that I'm not sure if it's even worth burning the fuel, because yeah, let's just complete it on RCS. We have plenty of RCS, more than we need for the docking procedure. So okay, and now let us align the encounter. Wow, looks like we're gonna have a very nice encounter. Just aligning maneuver program, making sure that we come in. And we are coming in close. At the maneuver node we will be doing the burn to make sure that we can get even closer, which will be happening in a couple of seconds. Perfect. Let's delete the maneuver node and see how our encounter looks like. Okay, fixing it a little bit manually. Okay, and there we go. We have an encounter with our orbital station, which is great. Closing up on it, and it is time for our ever-present rendezvous dance. I'm just trying to see where... there we are. And there's the exploration lander Mark 1 small. Well, I guess it took the name... our station took the name from our lander, I guess. Going at 11 meters per second, closing up on it. So the idea for today will be dock with the current station, refuel the lander, and then fix the inclination of both the station and the lander to be equatorial. And once we are equatorial, then basically reconnect the two, and then maybe we'll see. We'll just take it from there. But I do want this station to be equatorial for future missions. So decoupling from our boosting stage, or yeah, boosting and transfer stage, so to say, and coming closer on our lander. So just making sure it doesn't go and collide with the station. It won't. Perfect. So just making sure that we burn towards our target, lining up the two markers, which is only fitting, and let us control from here, which is our senior docking port, which we will use to dock with the large fuel tank. Perfect. Lining up. I've noticed, by the way, when you have a big target, it's pretty easy to dock to it, but when you have a small target, as we had previously lander, it is very tricky to align them just. Okay, so here we have docking port alignment, and once again using our docking port alignment to make sure that we dock to it properly. Okay, 50 meters to go with relative distance of roughly 10 meters. Or tangential distance, I don't know how you call it actually. So, okay, lining up, and we are go for docking. So, 7 meters, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and docked. Perfect. And immediately alarm goes off saying that we have a faulty component on board, which I'm perfectly aware of. Now, that being said, let's align the station to be normal. Orbit normal. Perfect. A tank of monoprop is leaking. Really? How do you figure that? Okay, Viruk, come on, you're engineer. Take some spares and please go and fix it. And I think the tank leaking is basically on the command pod of our monoprop lander. Oh, and it's landed backwards. Now I only realized that. Ah well, we'll fix that a little bit later. Now, repairing the battery. And I can't for the life of me see where is the leaking monoprop tank. Interesting. Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's just see if that's not one of the others. No, I'm just inspecting, looks okay. And then let's put you, Viruk, in the crew hatch of our monoprop lander. So now the plan is to undock and basically fix the inclination, redock, and then redock them together. But I think I won't be showing you all of that. I might skip some part because I think it will be just too boring and tedious for you guys to watch, so I'm thinking I'll probably skip some component of it. Okay, so let's see. Transfer out. So just now making sure that this small lander is properly fueled. And then let us undock it. Perfect. Where is our lander? Here we go. And the idea is that we just move it a little bit off. And hopefully fix the inclination, because now I'm just trying to move a little bit to make sure that I reduce the inclination as much as possible. So, using our RCS thrusters, we don't need that much thrust, we just need to reduce the inclination. So, 2.1, 2.0, which is nice. Can I reduce it further? Not sure about that. No, it goes up. Okay. Well, now, Like I said, I decided to skip that boring part and of me fixing and fiddling until I find the correct spot. So right now I'm just fixing the inclination of the station itself, and basically after we fix the inclination of the station we will do the redocking. So once again skip that part and going for the redocking on Minmus station. The reasoning, I mean, for me, it took some time and some fiddling until I got them all properly placed. And you've seen me doing like many times, so there was no really need. And also I've gotten some comments from some of my commenters who said like, well, there is no point of showing every single thing, which is something that I did during my Eve and Duna communications network setup, which I thought to be also a little bit tedious. So I figured it would be better that we just skip some of the more boring parts. So, docking to our... Wow! One thing I don't get, by the way, guys, why does my target get reset once I get close to it? It really screws up your docking, you know. Okay. Anyway, let's choose the docking port, and I want for this time to be docking to this guy here. With this guy. So let us do the docking procedure. Making sure it's properly aligned, and then just thrusting in the correct direction. I was kind of missing of playing with this small lander. It's kind of cool. Actually, I'm thinking, do I have any biome on the Minmus that I haven't visited? I'm thinking of maybe visiting another biome while I'm already at it and getting some science. That couldn't hurt, right? So, yeah, let me just have a look briefly in my archives. Yes! I seem to be missing the scientific data from the biome slopes, which will be a little bit more tricky to pull off, but that means that this one would need to land on a slope. Well, it has a wide enough base, and the Minmus is pretty low thrust to weight, and it's not very high, it's very flat. So I'm thinking I'm gonna pull it off. Just let's first dock, maybe refuel a little bit. I mean, we haven't spent much monoprop, but then again, I like to keep my tanks full. So, 1 meter and docked. Perfect! Docking, screeny, and now, overlay. Since we did the scan set before, I'm trying to figure out and find a good place where we could land. The place where we have lots of slopes. So I'm just gonna put another spot here, and I think it's only fair that we call this slopes, and let's basically just go for it. No point in really dilly-dallying for too long. So, come on, undock. Thank you. And so, Viruk, you get also, beside being an engineer, you have a chance to do some science. So, yes. Perfect, and making sure that we go down. I'm just aligning myself to be able to brake. I mean, it's not that hard, and this craft has very high thrust weight for Minmus, which is 115, I guess, or no, 51 thrust weight at surface, but I still think it's pretty darn good. So, and now I'm seeing that I'll probably miss the biome, so I just decided to burn a little bit more, just to make sure that we land on the correct spot. And so far our biome is Highlands. By the way, using this lander can be sometimes confusing for me because, navball kind of positioning screws me over. Okay, and we are now over the slopes, midlands, and just let's make sure that once we land, we do land on biome slopes. Because that's what we are here for after all, aren't we? So we're still above midlands, and I'm kind of hoping that we're gonna reach slopes eventually. Come on. Ah, slopes, here we go. Perfect. Braking. Backflipping a little bit, just to make sure to kill our surface velocity. And now just lining up correctly. Also a little bit more braking, and now we can land on RCS. I'm maintaining my surface thrust to weight below, let's say 3, and perfect! We have landed. So, once again, whack-a-mole with my mod. Magnetometer scan, scientific temperature, X-ray diffraction scan. Save, save, save. Go out, do the EVA surface sample. Might as well plant a flag. Minmus slopes done. Perfect. Delete the waypoint and screeny. Yay! Okay. Whoa, 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 please, Viruk, don't tip the lander. Let's get into the crew hatch, and this is so small that it's hard to hit it correctly. Oh, come on. Okay, perfect. And we will be once again taking off at 90-degree angle. The moment we hit the gas, we are already like, phew, way out. Let's disable the overlay, and once again we will redock with our station. So, okay, the Minmus lander has actually served its purpose. We have collected the science now from all the biomes. Okay, maybe materials bay and some stuff is missing, but, well, I'll just have to live with that, I guess, for the time being. So, now coming up on docking, let's do the dance. And by the way, this lander is basically suited for Minmus only, so this lander will remain docked to the Minmus orbital station, and once we actually and it will be used to hop on and hop off Minmus. This is why we have actually built another lander that Viruk will be using to land back to Kerbin. That's the idea anyway. Okay, lining up ever so carefully because I don't want to be hitting the how do you call it, the solar panels, and I forgot to retract the legs, so let's do that. And perfect, docked. There we go. That wasn't so hard now, was it? Okay, so let's once again refuel. Perfect. Just make sure that our lander is properly restocked, and I'm taking all the scientific data from the lander can. Or, yeah, the AES module. And let's go over to our lander. And board. At this point I realized I have did a small mistake, and I'm using autocollect from that pod instead from the main pod. So I've now once again reset, so I didn't really need to take the data out and go in, but I could have just toggled the autocollect. But yeah, it's a mod I'm using, which is Science Containers, which is really cool because it does autocollect from various experiments, which I think it makes sense. Okay, undocking our small lander, and Viruk is going home. Making sure we're properly aligned. And now setting up Kerbin periapsis, and Kerbin periapsis of say 24-ish is the one that I'm happy with. And the burn is coming in 3 minutes, 166 meters per second, so a very small burn. So let's just call this Minmus Lab Return Lander, because I mean we have enough life support to get back home, so we only need to come directly home. So burning. Perfect. And let's see us on the way home. So, coming back in, folding the solar panels, we have 4 chutes. I mean, it should be way overkill for this type of lander, but still, why not? Getting some re-entry heating, and it seems that we are over the water, but we might just be hitting the grasslands or something biome, so which I think it will be kind of cool. Perfect. Water impact time in 40 seconds. 35, 30. And we are just above the grasslands, which is great. And at some 5,000 or less, I'll pop the chutes. Popping the chutes, and we are decelerating, popping up landing legs, and a little bit engine. Whoa. Yeah, that was close. Okay. Anyway, guys, I think we're coming up on the end of the episode for today. It was a little bit 27-minute episode, so let's just see. Yeah, Viruk got some nice ribbons and some experience. Perfect. So yes, press like if you like the episode and hit that subscribe button for more KSC content that should be coming soon. Until then, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.